And this is the Mercedes-Benz Rangers postgame show. Another sweet parting from the Garden. After Ryan Strom's goal 6 minutes in would be the only goal, but certainly not the only storyline on this Rangers 1-0 win over the San Jose Sharks on Friday night at the Garden. Welcome into the Delta MSG studios, everyone. John Giannone alongside Steve Valiquette. I spent 2 periods between the benches. There's no way I would have said Ryan Strom's goal 6 minutes in would be the only one. Then to see what happened in the third period, we would have said the same thing. But another night where the Rangers get 2 points, maybe when you didn't think that would happen.
All 3 goalies were terrific in the game. Yeah. The score would have been much higher. I think the maturity of the Rangers really showed through in this game, though. If you're talking about based on the adversity of Shesterkin leaving, Georgiev coming in, they held their game together. Georgiev came in and made some great saves. But I think this game reminds me a lot of the Dallas game. Home opener against Dallas. You're playing against a mature team from the Western Conference. They've got a D zone that packs it in. They're tough to penetrate. The Rangers had less risk in this game than they did the Dallas game. They try to do more. I think they've learned now. You get to the quarter pole of the season, you get past Thanksgiving, you've taken 1 lap through the league, and you start to learn things. If you're a mature group and you want to do the right things to win. Now the Ranger team looks to me like they've got a culture, an understanding, everybody knows their roles. I mean, they're rolling right now. We'll talk about the goaltending next, but let's talk about the team. The team, I'm very proud of this team.
Yeah. Listen, if you have horseshoes or rabbit's feet, send them across the street because the Rangers will need the luck given what happened to Igor Shesterkin. As Steve said, we're going to get to that in a moment. But let's first dwell on the only goal of the game, which came on the power play. It was the first of 3 power plays the Rangers had on the night. It was not a penalty that the Sharks thought should have been called. There was a lot of complaining at the bench from Bob Bugner to the rest of the players, but it was called and the Rangers took advantage, and it was Ryan Strome cashing in.
Here's where I am with the power play right now. If the Rangers want to take even one more step to be a little bit more like Edmonton, they have all the positions marked off. Everybody's got their skill sets. Everybody knows the roles. The one thing they can do a little bit more of, John, is just to move themselves into each other's position. So have more switches, which causes more confusion. Right now, I give them a lot of respect for how they're able to move the puck from player to player and keep those lanes and seams open so the opposition has to stretch and reach out just like this. So San Jose's losing the shape of their box to chase. And now they're starting to get some switches right here, which helps. See, now Strome is on the other side of the ice. These are the plays now that I want to see them do a little bit more consistently because they've already got this elite power play and they can still take another significant step. Kreider supports the puck here after Fox is great to keep it in at the blue line, and Strome's in his spot on the half wall. And as they make this play here, it looks like he wants to go to Zibanejad, and he's trying for that play. That's the intent. It gets over to Panarin, and Panarin now makes his patience slow it down Panarin play, and Zibanejad is really looking for Kreider here, and everybody in San Jose is thinking about Kreider and his 9 goals that he has in the power play right now, and all of that attention, it opens up the upper part of the ice. We talked about this in the pregame. This was naturally going to happen. Strome has all of that time and space. He has enough room to take a slap shot, which never happens on the power play, walking into the slot like that. But everybody's so conscious of Kreider.
Right.
Now you've got open ice. So this is what's going to happen. They're going to have open ice. You're going to have open looks now for Panarin can shoot a little bit more often. Fox can walk in and shoot, and so can Zibanejad. You saw Strome do it. And then everyone's going to creep up on those guys. It'll leave at some point over the next 5-7 games, Kreider open again.
There was lots of congratulations at the Ranger bench after that goal for Strome, obviously, because he scored, but equal amounts for Adam Fox. Not only the keep-in, but the reception he made on that pass from Zibanejad is so overlooked because it was about 5 or 6 inches off the ice. And not only did he stop it from going out of the zone, he stopped it on a dive, which is incredible.
He stalled it.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of foot and puck action that has gone right to stick, but as we know, these guys are always working with a soccer ball to warm up in the hallways before games. That's part of it. But the overall athleticism and skill that Fox has is uncanny, and he's going to do things like this. He had a wonderful night, quietly, in a lot of ways, because he was defensively just outstanding with his stick.
Yeah, no, loudly enough to get the second star of the game. All right, so that was a little more than 6 minutes into the first period. What happened at the 5:08 mark of the third period will resonate around the Rangers in the coming hours, days. Rangers hope, not weeks. And it happened on a night where Igor Shesterkin, again, maybe wasn't as ridiculously amazing in making acrobatic saves, but was efficient and effective in holding a shutout.
He looks to me like he's in a position to make a lot of saves by reputation too. And one that sticks out is the bank breakaway at the end of the second period. And he made 2 or 3 big saves at the end of the second, but to even get to that point in the first period, he's just sharp throughout. I mean, obviously you look at the score and it's a 1-0 win. Goaltending's going to have a big piece of that action. A lot of action, speaking of action, came at him again, and he held strong through the first and second period. But he's holding his ground, and I feel like he's an intimidating force. He's always at the top of his crease. He looks so big, and he really expands his size, and he's patient. You can see him here. I know he's down, but he doesn't come out of posture, and this is the injury here. And here's the thing about a goaltender, right, John? If you're hurt, you're going to continue to play, but if you're injured, you have to leave the ice. And that's what an injury looks like. We're hoping for the best here with Igor, because this is something that could unravel all of the success the Rangers have built up until this point, because he's been such a contributor.
And it's that lack of weight on his knee, and then that reaction when he realizes that something's wrong with his right leg, that really speaks volumes for what happened. Alex Georgiev comes in the game, makes 9 saves, heroically is able to meld the shutout win for the Rangers. But that moment from Igor Shesterkin sort of throws you back 9 months almost to the day. March 4th, 2021 against the Devils, late in the game there, same thing, makes a save going one side to the other, Steve, goes down. And it was a right leg injury there, too, that caused him to miss 3 weeks of the season. Rangers went 5-4-1 without him in the 10 games that he missed. But that is what just is so gut-wrenching to watch, that we see it again after we saw it last year. And we don't want to speculate what the injury is, whether it's the same or different. We don't know yet, but it's the second time we've seen it.
Right, and it's been 3 or 4 different lower body injuries over the last 3 years that he's had parts of 3 seasons in the NHL. Sergei Bobrovsky played a very acrobatic game, too, in his first few years in the NHL. He changed the way that he trained in the summertime. He adjusted certain things in his game. Igor is gifted to go into the splits whenever and however often he wants to do it. Sometimes there's a risk at doing that, because you continue to stretch your body in place where if it doesn't come back together and repair, it's almost like a wear and tear injury that just doesn't quite heal. I know, I've had groin injuries, and when they happen, they take a long time to rehabilitate, because there is scar tissue that you have to work through, and you also mentally have to work through the fact that every time you go down, coming back from that injury, it continues to hurt, and you're not sure if you're re-injuring yourself or if it's going to be okay. So you get through it, but at this point right now, we didn't stay at Holiday Inn last night, and we're not doctors, so we can't tell you how long it's going to be.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. And again, we'll wait to find out from the Rangers. Remember, with a game tomorrow night, it was most likely going to be Alex Georgiev anyway to start tomorrow. So the real impact of Igor Shesterkin's injury might first be felt next Tuesday when the Rangers play in Chicago. But Alex Georgiev was called upon. He was going to have to play the final 14:52. He made 9 saves. And, Steve, there were a couple that were tic-tac-toe that were beauties.
For the fans at home that follow the Rangers very closely, you could tell that Georgiev was playing on instinct. There was no thought in his game. He was playing instinctive. This could be the best thing for him. Get into a game, play just to be in the moment. Play your game. Play on instinct and explode and make saves. Don't think about it. There was nothing that was slow and thought through in his game. He was very reactionary. And this is going to help him, because what's going to happen is it clicks, John. You say to yourself, oh my goodness, what have I been doing all this time? This is actually the way that I have to play. The way I play is better on instinct without any thought. And now he understands that, closing this game out, that I got to play that way tomorrow. I can't put too much pressure on myself. I just have to go out and play my game. If he does that, he's going to be successful again. But he was playing Georgiev instinct hockey here. He wasn't over-techniquing it.
Want to let you know the first word from the Rangers comes from head coach Gerard Gallant, who after the game said, quote, "It's not as bad as it looked," meaning the Igor Shesterkin injury. We'll hear more from the head coach a little bit later on the Mercedes-Benz Rangers postgame show.